Well, AG and Muji pressers from West Palm Beach. So let's go to the Frankie account on X. I put this out. One of the things that AG said that got picked up by the press was all of this, some of this language about moving in silence. Some of the beat reporters were asking him about, was this an intentional thing? That we're not making a lot of noise, we're not making a lot of splash signings. And he said, yeah, we're going to move in silence. And they were kind of picking that up. And so that reminded me of a song. So then I put this out 8 hours ago. And this is the song here. It's from Bad Meets Evil. It's Royce the 5'9" and Eminem. And it's a song called Writer's Block. And the lyrics are, aren't you tired? Why are you so loud? Shh, quiet. Real dudes move in silence like a mute driving a new hybrid. You dudes is too excited. You a dude that'd try to sue a dude that's suicidal. That's incredible lyricism from Royce the 5'9". But I think that's kind of what AG was getting at. But then, after that, shortly at 40 minutes after I posted this, Antoine Staley put out a tweet of another rapper that makes a similar kind of a analogy, saying that he wants to be a G that moves in silence, like the G in lasagna. Now that's a great lyric. As we all know, there's a silent G in lasagna, and G is short for gangsta in hip hop culture, because I know all about the hip hop. And so that's also a great line. But I think I started it. I put this up first. I think somehow Antoine Staley saw this and he was like, well, and he's probably thinking to himself, well, there's another rap song that has a similar, and he put that out. This goes to show how everybody stealing off of Frankie. But the idea, though, that we're not going to be in the press talking about receipts, and we're not going to be in the press talking about how we're going to see them again, the Bills, after we play them the second time in the season, meaning we're going to get to the playoffs and meet them. No, we're not, Mr. Sala. We're not going to be, braggadocious in the media. We can have our confidence, but we're going to be moving in silence. It also reminded me of, the quiet professionals. If you know anything about the military, you know that there's some elite soldiers, elite military folks who call themselves the quiet professionals. They don't make a big deal out of it. They just come in, do the job, and leave and go home. Okay? And then everything that they achieve all their objectives, and then that's it. They don't make a big deal out of it. It's just what they do. And I kind of like that as a sort of like as a philosophy, as a culture, as a context for what we're trying to do. We don't need to brag about it. We don't need to talk about it. We just need to go do it. We just need to go do it. We can be quiet and then just kick your ass on Sunday and then just go home, have a drink, and then start all over on Monday. And that's it. You don't need all of this braggadociousness. You know, that's all you need. You know, you don't see the frogmen, you know, talking about what they're going to do. They just get it done. You feel me? So, and I think that's a great way to be. So that was one great thing I think from the AG press conference. I like that. We're going to move in silence, and a lot of the beat writers were picking up on that. Here's some of the notes. I put this out. Oh, that's a little small. I put this out this morning. Some notes on Fields RPO. He kept saying that he's going to play quarterback. He made a point. AG made a point that Fields is going to play quarterback, which is interesting. Which means he may run maybe a little less than we're thinking, but he's still going to run. let's be honest. Depth chart is written in pencil. Just because Fields is quarterback one doesn't mean there won't be competition. Then he said the offense and defense is going to be built around the talent and personnel that we have. This is probably the best point he made the whole thing. We build around who we have, and I said, hooray! Now we got to see it implemented. A lot of coaches say that and then they don't do it. But let's see. Let's see. I mean, it would be interesting to see, for example, a defensive strategy built around whoever it is that we wind up having. Are we going to be an attack front or a read front? Well, it depends. So more on that later. Um, they addressed Brandon Stevens, why they picked him up and why they paid so much money. And he did acknowledge his weakness of not getting turnovers and not getting his head turned around. I mean, he acknowledged it. He said, yeah, we all know he does that, and we're going to coach him up to fix it. Okay, well, I hope so. But what you're saying is that the Baltimore Ravens coaches don't know what they're doing then, or at least they weren't able to get it out of him, but you're going to get it out of him. That's a lot of confidence, Mr. AG, but okay, well, let's see. Now, one of my favorite moments from the press conference actually was when somebody said, well, they started talking about Tanner Engstrand and the Goffense in Detroit, and won't this be an issue because we have a different kind of quarterback? And AG said, well, obviously you didn't see him in college where he ran different offenses. And so I kind of like that AG will scold our dopey beat reporters because they're so stupid. But you do have to be careful in a sense because, when you dunk on them, it feels good in the moment and that's fun. But we all know they hold a grudge and they're going to get you eventually. I forgot that Andre Cisco and Ife Melifonwu were college teammates. And Ife, college teammate of Andre Cisco, spoke glowingly of Cisco. So we signed Cisco. Interestingly, we did not sign Ife, who signed with the Dolphins. When he was talking about Josh Reynolds, he started talking about how good of a blocker he is. That was music to my ears. And as I told you guys, that's what it is. And if you want to have an explosive run game, then you need to block. And he said, one of the things we're going to say to the wide receivers is if you don't block, you don't get the rock. Boy, oh boy, music to my ears. If you don't block, you don't get the rock. I love it. Better block, everybody. Spoke highly of DJ Reed. Focused on getting younger. Indeed. Jordan Travis, they touched on Jordan Travis. He said, I'm not a doctor. I don't know when he'll play. So, uh, but if he can get on the field, he'll compete, he said. So, and that's fair. He's not a doctor. Um, Chooks, they did ask him, and I have to give the beat reporters credit for asking about Chooks Okorafor. Why did he leave the Patriots? How much of an investigation did the Jets do? And AG said they did a good amount of investigation. They spoke to the player, and he trusts the player. Felt comfortable with his answers, and he will compete. I still don't love this one, but we don't know what questions were asked and what answers were given, and we're not going to know until at least when the guys show up. The media might request Chooks to speak to them, and he might do so. And if so, then he's going to get that question, and then we'll see what Chooks has to say about it. But I still don't love that signing, no matter what. But on the other hand, I do trust AG. Garrett, does he spend time talking to Garrett Wilson? Yes, they've had a lot of good conversations. Talked about Sauce Gardner and the lack of interceptions, and he said he will work on getting more interceptions with the coaches. So that's good. We're going to focus on the extensions after the draft. We're going to use all three running backs as much as possible. All three, he said. Interestingly, they said Alan Lazard might be back. If he's on the team, we'll utilize him. It seems like a touchy issue because the Jets want him to take a pay cut, but you can't really say that publicly. It's not good PR. So we'll see what Lazard wants to do. They did give him permission to seek a trade, so I guess that didn't work out. We didn't trade him. But of course, if Rodgers signs with the Steelers, that could be a trade partner right there. The draft, tush push, blah blah blah. Quiet off season. It is by design. Huge believer in moving in silence. Doesn't need to be a lot of hoopla. He said. He said that the coaches need to teach and develop. Job one is teach. Job two is develop. So hopefully, maybe these coaches will be better at that than the ones we've had in the past. Jermaine Johnson, he knows he's working his ass off to get back to who he is. He's known him since the Senior Bowl. And that's about it for old AG.